For instance, we had a lawsuit going against a firm called Jefferson Data Plan, which is an executive jet firm based in San Jose, a subsidiary of Boeing. They were flying executive jets around the world, picking up people and hauling them off to be renditioned and tortured. 5 of the people that came out of that alive sued in the San Jose Federal District Court, and with the ACLU's full support. We took that all the way up to the 9th District Circuit, or rather the 9th Circuit Court. And basically we got stymied. And the reason was because the government said that they had secrecy privileges. It's a state secret that we're doing renditions and torturing people, even though we've known that it's been done. So it means you not only can't get the evidence in court because it's privileged, but the Obama Department of Justice in particular has been taking it to a new level. They're basically saying, well, Your Honor, they have no case because the information they're trying to bring in is secret. Therefore, Your Honor, we move to dismiss. And we lost in the 9th Circuit. We and the Electronic Frontiers Foundation, which is a very good group, by the way, that focuses specifically on cyber liberties, have been jointly suing over the AT&T stuff. Room 641A, which was that Blue Room in San Francisco. We were defeated in one case, and we're probably going to come up losers on another one that's working its way through the 9th Circuit now. At least we're trying, and the EFF is trying. That's where the situation is right now. Yeah.
So, what can we do? I mean, you at the ACLU seem to be not winning your cases because of whatever things you're talking against. Yeah. What can we do? What can we as citizens do about this besides just get totally freaked out, which I imply? I mean, am I going to feel here as a subversive? You know, I mean, this is what it was in the 60s with Cuba and Vietnam War. We're here, we're all subversives because we're listening to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets really paranoid and ugly. So what do we do?
Well, the good news is they already know about us, so well, one thing we have been doing is trying to hold at least the local leadership to account. Some of you know about Jared Huffman, who's our new congressman in parts of the North Bay. He replaced Lynn Woolsey, who was a very good progressive, who was willing to be a backbencher simply to vote the right way. She voted no on the Patriot Act, she voted no on the war with Iraq, she voted no on a lot of stuff. Jared, we weren't so sure. Norman Solomon, whom I've been working with more and more at the Center for Grassroots Progress, he ran against Jared in 2012, almost made it into the general election, and since then has been raising issues on this. We had, when Huffman hosted this fancy fundraiser, $35,000 a couple in Belvedere, which I don't know if you're familiar with it. The Belvedere is about as hoity-toity as they come. I mean, we're talking 1% of the 1%. Anyway, we did hold a demonstration on that street. It was an event that was hosted by Huffman, and the main speaker on that was Nancy Pelosi, who was all for this NSA stuff. Jared, we weren't sure about, but after the demo, he at least started to at least not sail so close to the wind. He did vote for the what was called the Amash Amendment, which was something brought forward by libertarian Republicans and progressive Democrats to try and stop the NSA stuff. It failed by a very slim margin, even with Pelosi and Boehner and Obama trying to stop it. Huffman voted the right way. Most of the Bay Area delegation voted the right way. So kicking up a fuss might help. Just simply writing your congressman, whether it's Thompson or Huffman, and telling them, hey, listen, we don't like this NSA stuff. Vote against it if you get the chance.
It's happening in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's coming out in Canada, and it's also coming out in Britain. The Prime Minister there is, well, basically a prime marionette. He's been basically on Obama's side all along, but sooner or later, either his party or more likely his constituents are going to get sore at that. You just have to keep voting every election cycle, one way or another. I'm actually hoping there's another party that'll emerge. I was in the Democratic Party, and I would like some kind of progressive party to come forward at least, like it did in 1912, a real progressive party that will stand for the people, stand for the Constitution, but so far I ain't seeing it. Somebody's got to get out there and start organizing. Yeah.
As I remember, we got this constitutional amendment for search and seizure of warrants and all that. I'll get pissed off at the British for doing that sort of thing and having a revolution.
Well, you either have to try and turn the system's own rules against it through the electoral process. I'm not sure I would suggest a revolution simply because, well, there's an old Russian proverb that said when four sit down to talk revolutions, three of them are fools and the fourth one is a police spy. No, you just basically, that's one thing. It's one thing to be called a subversive, it's something else if they get something that they can hang you with. It's better off if you at least simply say, I'm not going to put up with this. Something's got to change, even if you don't know how. I'm not sure I can tell you exactly how. We're trying to do it in court, but we're not coming up winners there. I don't know how much progress you're going to make on in elections until at least you finally get the message across to the Democrats. They've either got to grow a progressive wing, or there's got to be some way that they're going to, basically they can't take us for granted anymore, because we're still out there. Yeah.
Just wanted to say what a lot of people don't do, which they should do, is to communicate with other people about what actually is happening, making sure that people do actually know what's going on, what the details are about it, and people's right to assemble needs to be activated. People need to get together like we're here today and talk about things so more people know about it. And the idea, it seems to be like, is to get two people afraid to do that kind of thing. And if you submit to that kind of fear, then nothing will happen. So, in a way, it's like the NSA is a terroristic act in itself, because they want you afraid to even say a bad thing about them, because they might have it on record, you know. So just assemble. That's our whole basis for this United States is we assemble and we come up with ideas and we police our police. You know.
Yeah. Yes, and that's the whole point. The change is not going to come immediately. I suppose Ursula Le Guin, the science fiction writer, said it when she wrote, you can't make the revolution and you can't buy the revolution. You can only be the revolution. It's either in your spirit or it's nowhere. It starts with that, I suppose. It also helps if you just keep at it. I'm not going to put up with this stuff. This is illegal. It is wrong. It is against the Constitution, which is abused as it was, is still the only thing we got. It helps if you keep doing it year after year after year. I know because once upon a time I got into public advocacy trying to get simple domestic partners registries. Just simply where two people could put their name down, nothing more. 20 years ago, that was out on the radical edge of things. 20 years before that, the idea of two people settling down together could get them thrown into a mental institution or into jail. So the times do move forward. People can get married now, although now it still might mean standing in a bread line together or maybe going into a detention center together, but at least something got changed simply because people kept beating that drum. It's whatever you can do in whatever specialty. If you're clergy, you can start preaching a damnation every Sunday. Bankers in the hands of an angry God. There's plenty of scripture on that. Those of you that have any kind of ability to organize in the labor movement or in other social organizations, you can do it there. It also helps if you make the point, if you're an economist or if you know anything about this stuff, just how much the surveillance state and our wars are costing us. If we weren't spending money on 2 wars that we didn't sell a single war bond for, we might very well have more jobs and more dividends and more capital and more prosperity than what we got. I mean, all of those missiles and all those drones cost something. Plus the fact that a lot of that money is being wasted. One of the things that Greenwald did show was just how much money the NSA was spending on itself. They even have this control room at Fort Meade that looks literally like something off of Star Trek, with a big chair in the middle and screens all around it. It actually looks like something the Cardassian Union would have catered, not Starfleet, but it just shows how much money they're willing to spend on their own vanities. It's good to bring this up to people that, hey, people are out there scrimping on minimum wage, and they're basically making their own movie sets. Ridiculous. Sooner or later, if you can play the game by their rules and turn it against them, turn their words against them. I mean, how much terrorism is really going on out there? How much of it is coming out of those organizations I named? Next to nothing. It's just the justification, as this film brings out. In fact, the matter is that they're saying it's terrorism, but they're spying on all of us. I don't see any terrorists in this room. There may not even be an Al-Qaeda anymore. They may have done for them all. That's my conspiracy theory anyway. I mean, it's ridiculous to say that you're fighting terrorism and then to spy on Petrobras or to spy on Google or to spy on any number of organizations and people that had nothing to do with it. Just keep saying, this is hypocrisy. And this is not what we elected Barack Obama to do. I mean, my God, in a way, that was the most surreal thing I've seen in politics in a long time. We elect this great hero, and then all of a sudden he turns into something else. It's as if at the end of the first of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Aragorn kills Frodo and takes the ring and becomes president of Gondor. It's that much of a, I don't know, a betrayal or just simply a letdown.
Yeah, I won't cut you off, but it is kind of
Yeah.
a long movie, so
Yeah.
we're hoping to get started soon. So if anybody has any final questions, or if you have any final statements about maybe what I think you've been talking about, what to think about.
Just basically, you'll see a dystopian society that spies on its people and has a mania for surveillance and uses terrorism as an excuse. I suppose it's a good option. If you've got any questions or if you'd like me to speak in the future, she's got my email, and or Norman can get a hold of me. That's easily enough done. Anyway, that's. Enjoy.